What up, y'all? It's your girl, Jkiillem, here with Amber's Closet yet again. Everybody give a round of applause. Yeah. We gotta preface by saying first that y'all should know that we've been making videos for a while now. She's a goat, though. Our age gap is it's about 8 years. So I'm 32, and like we have gone through different centuries of what it is to be gay and also have friends. We just don't have videos out here that talk like very, very strongly and truthfully about what it's really like to have lesbian friends. And
the ups and downs.
We're gonna try to do our best, our Virgo best, not to be petty on this. I also asked you guys on my Instagram story like what your struggles are, so that way we can hit as many topics as possible. And then after you guys watch this, watch them on her channel, and make sure you just like get your lesbian information soaked in your brain from the OGs out here. You know, I'm coming up on 10 years being out.
Dang.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Now, I mean, remember my video on the internet is when I really came out. And it's 12 years ago now.
So I like to start them off by just talking about our history a little bit. Everybody knows that like the beginning stages are tough. Like that's like the worst time. We're trying to figure it out. I wish I could say there's more opportunities for us to make friends outside of like apps and events, but it's like slim pickings. So I feel like that's like the biggest thing that I leaned into was apps and events when I first came out. And then that just leads you into like a whirlwind of like bullshit and like very fake stuff and very like
Surface level.
Yeah.
Like, people be really surface level.
And then you get hurt and then you feel like lesbian friends suck and like you're just like fuck this, and then you try to go back to your old ways, and then that doesn't work either because you deep down want really good lesbian friends. And then you go through the cycle, and I feel like it's just like evolutions of a cycle. So I went through that many times. Like I can go look back at like all the levels of friendships I've had with lesbians and like different types of friends. And it's all been really complicated and weird. It didn't have to get like that.
For no reason.
Like, it didn't have to be like that.
Hello, unnecessary.
And then another thing we're gonna hit later is like it does get sexually confusing, and like you're just kind of like romantically frustrated, and like there's just a lot of going on. And then the ways that lesbian friends betray each other, next level. Like that's the stuff that needs to be on TV for sure. I will always say that. That's like a very quick summary of what I've been through.
We're talking specifically about lesbians because we're lesbians and we have to go through these things. But I think in every category of humans, there are some people that are just not doing the work, selfish minded, you know, just out for themselves. Unfortunately, because we are in the realm of like social media and events, we see a lot of people that lead with that. And I think that that's why we experience it a lot too, because I've experienced where people come up to me and be like, yo, like I fuck with you, da 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 da, and then end up kind of wanting to like do what you do by like then stepping to the person you just broke up with. And that's the crazy to me. I feel like I see it with you now because you're outside and you're in the light and you're doing your thing and whatever. And people, I don't know why that happens. I can't tell you how many people have come to me on some like, I fuck with you, I really respect you, but then literally disrespect.
Crazy. I feel like lesbian women in general, like we all kind of are just very complex, trying to be friends with one another, and our values and morals and everything, like it just gets very like all over the place. And then you start to like see people for who they are. The other thing we don't talk about enough is like we introduce each other to a lot of people because of our connections, and especially in our careers. How it happens is a community. So like you just start to introduce each other, and then like that's how you also make friends and meet people and learn yourself through this era of like being gay. And then that's where that gets complicated, because then it's like, well, I introduced y'all, what the fuck, you know? And then you start to feel this like sense of like entitlement, and like when you're growing, I feel like our egos tend to be a little bit higher. Like when we start, we're feeling really good, and then it's like, yeah, we're gay, like we're here now. I feel like the friendships will humble you quick. If you are not like super...
I think everybody needs a dose of humble. I think leading with ego is one of the biggest issues in our community, especially when it comes to mass representation. And I love my mass, but also I love us to the point where we got to be able to call each other out and say, yo, like there's a difference between how we feel and how we present ourselves, or like how we carry ourselves, and then you trying to take on this toxic masculinity ass energy and adopt these heteronormative ideals that are just like toxic as fuck.
Yeah. And it's also interesting being in this space where like I'm dancing on stages and being this like masculine figure, and then trying to like be like someone that helps others like get onto this wave.
Yeah.
And it could be a really positive thing, which it always is usually, but there's still this other energy that comes from masculinity in general where it's just like, you're a competition. Their insecurities show around their girlfriends really
Yeah,
fast.
real quick.
And I've seen some shit on stage, off stage. No matter though, like if you are feminine or masculine, like, I feel like the problems in general are just like
Across the board.
yeah, because then if you're friends with more feminine friends a lot, then people think you're a slut. And it's like, you can't fucking win either way.
The reason why I said the leading with the ego thing is because I think there are a lot of us that deal with like severe insecurity, but they mask it with ego. And then they lead with that. I'm not dancing on the girls, but like I'm hosting the parties and they come up and they try to dance or whatever. And then I see the girlfriend want to try to like, ooh, girl, I didn't ask her to come. We vibing. What's the problem? I'm not trying to get at her. Does it look like? And I really love and respect those that come up and be like, hey, bro, we like fuck with you. I love that. And I love like giving my mask compliments because that's so odd for some people. Instead of the compliment, it comes with the check-in. Oh, you trying to fight?
Right.
Like, what is going on?
And that differs, I feel, since we've traveled so much, like state to state, country to country, like it really matters like where you're at.
Yeah.
How masculine women move especially. We both experienced polyamory and like stuff like that, and I'm still there. So sexually and stuff like that, when it comes to like other people and friends and like different things, like people move different too as far as like cultures and like places. Like we just were in San Francisco and these two girls were making out like all night and I'm like, you're from Brazil, huh? Because she's like, yeah, we love to kiss. And I'm like, I know, I can tell. Like that wouldn't go well with anybody usually in the US most of the time. Like that's like, whoa, like you guys are kissing. Like even if you go to Atlanta studs versus anywhere else.
Or
it's
like, just the femmes, how the femmes act.
Yeah.
They'll come up to you and talk to you in some places, and the other places, if they do come up to you, they're dissing you. Because that's supposed to be a way to be like, I think
And
you're
New York
cute.
too.
What the fuck? Or they don't and they just like mug you.
And I feel like LA is like probably the hardest place to make friends. The ego, the stinginess,
the selfishness.
Status of things, and like that's why I love you. I love the people that we are around just because like we don't act like that. Like,
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. Like
Yeah, I hear stuff.
I hear a lot.
And then I try to remove myself.
I feel like we're always kind of like a little bit outside. Like we know everything though.
Yeah. I think, you know what's so crazy is like, I think because I know people, I've been in a lot of people's breakups for no reason at all. I don't understand. I don't even know. I don't be a part of anyone. But I'm like, I don't know what secret talk that y'all had where my name got brought up that all of a sudden I'm involved in this breakup when I don't even talk to y'all. I don't even know you for real. Like,
I think lesbians just love to talk. Like lesbian friends love to gossip and talk and chit chat. Like that's a big thing is obviously if anybody y'all seen the L Word or any like lesbian show, it's just literally all about getting together and talking about what's going on. Like, and I'm definitely guilty of doing that. Like it's just what happens, you know, but there's like a point of like being involved or like just knowing and being informed. And that's one thing that we don't really do well with. Like a lot of us don't know when to step out and just be like, I'm informed, but I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not in it. Sometimes when people are talking about people, I'm like, I'm gonna go in the other room because it just is not my business. I got enough going on.
Right.
But I mean, sometimes you need to know so then you navigate a certain way.
Yeah.
Because lesbian breakups with a couple mess up the whole dynamic of things, and so that can be a thing where it's like, I need to know.
That's annoying.
It sucks. But it's something we have to deal with all the time.
Yeah, like we were all like a little group, and then
We be really married to each other, and then really like, I hate that person. I never want to see person act like that person is.
So you're friends with their friends, but then once you break up, like you're not friends with their friends anymore.
Nope.
Like, and then if you are, that's fucked up.
Not cool. Like, it's like, but I really love that. That's crazy.
It sucks because it's like, what does it do? But it's like at the same time, we're all just friendly, right? You know, and then someone fucks each other, and then it just gets worse. I've distinctly told my friends, even recently, I'm like, I'm not in this. Sometimes you just have to be really forward with people, even if it seems like you're being a dick or like insensitive. Like you gotta be like a little bit more mature when it comes to this stuff to save yourself, because you can drown in the amount of information you know and have. What was really surprising about what you guys said is like, I thought it was gonna be like, where do you find them? But you guys were like, how to not have friends that fuck each other. And I'm like, whoa. I didn't know that was like such a big thing. Why everybody's always fucking.
Dang.
I feel like the feelings thing is the tough one because we all want to be like, love is love. And like, I think one thing that is like an excuse that we all just excuse is like the amount of time we let things kind of just like separate. It's been some time, maybe it's okay for you to like do something, but like, it's not okay. Like if I just dated someone and then you next day are in her DMs, like,
It's crazy.
That's not okay. It's not acceptable. Like, that's crazy. And that happens a lot more than people think and know. And then like the betrayal that a lot of y'all are experiencing is through the sexual stuff. You know, I would have never did you like that, or like I would have respected that. And that's again, like it goes into like how people really value lesbian friendships and like each other and values in general, like who we are as people.
I think it's also a thing of like where you are in your journey. I was younger and people started popping up and like experimenting. Like we didn't really have the language then, but we were experimenting like, oh, we like girls. People were just really ratcheting outside. And I think because it was such a new thing that really didn't have like, in my realm of like the basketball girls, didn't really have like a title or whatever. They just felt like they could be everywhere, do everything, do everybody. And it's just like, wait, hold on. I was doing, you can't just, you know? There's only a very few that like will move at in a kind of respectful way. The rest of people are like, fuck it, I'm just trying to figure it out. So it really is like analyzing people. Like, where are you in this journey? Am I safe here?
Yeah.
And that's how I move nowadays. If it's somebody I'm dating or friends or whatever, it's like, what are you currently going through? Where are you in your life?
Right.
And can I be safe with you? Because now I really have to worry about that because of people and friendships and like people I was dating have put me in really not safe situations or uncomfortable situations or disrespectful situations. Now I'm just like, oh, hell nah. Where are you at? What are you currently doing or searching for so I can know and have an opt-in or opt-out button?
It's so important to like hold your boundaries and develop those as you do this. Like you're gonna learn through people and be like, oh, I never want to do that again. And you develop that like level of trust within yourself to be able to move forward. But then your friend circle does get smaller and it does like, you know, like it starts to be like, and I feel like people see that as a bad thing and they get lonely, but then it's like, if you're honoring yourself and protecting your peace, then it's like, it makes sense. And it's just like the way of life. I feel like a lot of people try to fight like naturally what's supposed to happen, but I feel like that's just like naturally what happens as you grow. And I remember when I was way younger, I had a way bigger like best friend group, and like I was like, you know what I mean? And then they all ended up fucking me over, like, and it's just like because I didn't have that sense of like, oh, this is what to look out for, and like these are the signs and these are red flags. Like red flags exist in best friends.
What you want.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like what I want in friendship has changed over time.
Yeah.
I was able to be all of this for you guys, and it served us well for a long time, but there was no reciprocity. Yeah. So now I don't want that friendship. And now they're not my friends anymore because they were so used to me just being the giver and taking care of all the things that they don't know the dynamic where now they have to pour in.
And they take advantage of people like us, for real. Like,
yeah.
They don't realize what they got until it's gone.
That's the problem. Every time.
I know.
And then by the time they figure it's way too late. Yeah. Because we always give grace periods too.
Yes.
Why can't you figure it out in the grace period?
Like, I mean, like it's okay.
I've double, triple, quadruple. I do the run back. I'm accountable. I'm aware.
Man.
And now it's tough for them to get that.
What do you think, like, what it was outside of like believing in people, like within yourself? Like, what do you think it was that you were just like letting that happen? Like,
one of my biggest things is that once I put so much effort into something, because I can see the potential, I do believe that something can snap and change and we will be good. But they have to do that too. I can't be the only one believing it. They have to also do the work, put in effort. Let's actively make the change that we need, and like, let's see how it goes. It's always a block at some point because it's either they don't have it or they feel like I'm trying to change them or control them in some way, instead of seeing that like, I'm not trying to change you or control you. Actually, the things that I'm asking for are actually things that are make you better as a human, not just to me, to everybody.
Yeah. They don't want to hear that though.
In general,
That's when I feel like friendships start to drift because it's like, oh, you just don't even think the same, want to move the same, and it's just like, it's cool if we just, and I think that just naturally happens a lot. So when I was getting older and starting to get closer friends and it still develops, I feel like it constantly changes. I feel like you gotta like stay open to a certain extent too. Like you can't completely, because then it's just like, it really does get pretty bad. And then, you know, you're stuck with people that you don't truly want to be friends with.
Just because I've been friends with somebody for a long time doesn't mean that they're a good friend.
Yeah.
You know, because you'll like literally do that thing of like, dang, but we've been friends for so long. And it's like, so I'm different. We're different. I want different things. We're not in the same place. And that's okay. Because friendship breakups are one of the hardest breakups ever. You get to a point just like in a regular breakup. It's like, I need better. I deserve better. I want better. I'm looking for different things in this life, quality over quantity. If you pour like I pour, what's up?
Yeah. All these things that we're saying are like pretty much very similar to like something romantic. Like it's
Yeah.
it's very, very close. Like
Yeah.
all the things that you need are like need to be reciprocated in friendships. And I think that's another difficulty we're like realizing is like as much as it is not romantic, like it still needs all the things to be fed and to be held accountable. There's just that weird line and like degree of like, well, it's okay because you're my friend. You know, like oh, it's like there's a lot of excuses for a lot of things. Like for me especially, like because I don't drink, there's a lot of times where I'm just like excusing behavior. Even though it's like I'm constantly around all this stuff that you've done in front of my face that was not cute, not respectful, like things where your values are way off, and like truth comes out when people are drunk. Like so you see a lot of true colors from a lot of people. So in my position, it's been very difficult like navigating seeing you sober versus drunk all the time. Like I'm constantly seeing two versions of people. And that's been like one of the tougher struggles for me is like developing how I move because they won't see it that way. They don't remember what they did. They don't remember how they are, how they're seen. Like I've seen girls foaming at the mouth. I've held back people like during fights. Like I've seen some crazy shit. It's hard for me to look at you the same, you know? And like sometimes I guess I'm seen as like a dick or whatever, like moving on from stuff, but I don't really care. Like
no, it's just you setting your boundaries and
like,
being firm in them, which I'm proud of you for.
Thanks, man.
Because also there's something to say with people like to get like that kind of out of control. Because if you don't remember, some nights I don't remember, but I'm also not doing some crazy shit. You know what I mean?
I've never seen you do something crazy.
Thank you.
Maybe a little, no.
Right. I'll try to get wild every once in a while. Like if somebody comes to me that I know, love, and trust, right? And you with your booze and who, whatever, they should hear you and hear you out and not get defensive and be like, oh, you're just coming for me. It's actually a moment to be like, oh, dang, I didn't know I get like this, or I didn't see myself like this. Like, let me work on it. Because if I'm coming to you and saying, you're a whole different person when you drink, and then I have to go into this mode of not having fun anymore and taking care of you, and I don't like that, something has to change. And at that moment, me letting you know is doing my part. Where are you at?
And then like I always got to be that one to like be the one to bring it up and like be the conversation starter and the pusher and stuff. So that adds that extra layer of like boundaries and effort. Definitely wish sometimes I felt like more naive, like how I used to be a little bit, just because it was really fun. Like I had a ball and like I was just living like really free and stuff. But then like when you do have this like level of responsibility being out here like this, like you can't do that. You can't do the same things and you can't let the same people in, because then there comes that level of betrayal that like when you get to a certain level in your career or whatever, like people will use you. People will be friends with you to use you, like literally, like.
Literally.
And I know you've experienced that. I've definitely experienced that. I feel like with lesbians, like they're just so sneaky. You can't even tell what people's true intentions are sometimes, and that's why I've moved really cautiously these days, because I'm like, something's off, but I don't want to like cut you off completely, like to whatever, but I just...
Boundaries.
I want to feel valid in being able to do that with people and not hear my name being brought up in like certain things all the time. Like, it's just like, it's not necessary. Like, if I choose not to be friends with you, that's just my choice. Like, I should just be respected in that.
Yeah.
I don't technically need like a full valid reason.
Pulling yourself away from like being able to even hear it. Being around people that are not gonna come to you with that bullshit, and then also not searching for it. When you said you're like, I wish I could be more naive, my thing was, I wish that I learned what I know now earlier. I went through that naive stage for so long, that's where I got burnt. And then it got to a point where like, I was so hurt and so angry that I was about to change some of the traits about me that I thought were really awesome. I just needed to like wait for the right friends. But then that put me in a weird space too. So I wish that I would have actually been more cautious earlier and then like created the boundaries that I have. I feel you when you're like, I wish I could just have fun and not like overthink things, because we can't help that. But no, I feel like getting to the point now where you can see the difference is the good place, but it's just finding the balance of how do I now navigate to where I can protect myself from these things. And how I've been able to do that is like, go and do my work, don't linger. The clubs are where... and the people around it, right? It's like, there are some healthy people in that, right? But like figuring out who you can hang out with and go to dinner with versus you're just the person I have fun with at the club.
That's a huge, like compartmentalize your friends. I can't say that word.
Compartmentalize?
Compartmentalize your friends.
Put them in different departments.
Yeah, like, and that's okay. Like I feel like when you're in high school and like younger kids, like I know a lot of y'all watch these, like you come out and you have this mindset of like, well, you just have friends and they do everything and whatever. Like I used to kind of think of it that way, but like it's okay if like just one friend is just meant for this and you know, you go to this friend for this, and like that is like actually a healthy way to like live life and have friends, and especially in this community. And then the information you share is very important. So I would encourage a lot of y'all to be cautious with what you say, what you don't say, who you share it with. Y'all are saying a lot about betrayal. Like make sure you're being as honest as you can, because that shit will always bite you in the ass. Karma's a bitch. I've talked about this many times. Like, you know, like do white lies and bounce around subjects to avoid things for people's feelings. It's gonna catch up. And one thing about women is we all know, and we have really strong intuition.
Especially as Virgos, first of all. Don't even try. We know so much more.
We see right through you.
Yeah, like we overanalyze so many things. Like we picked up more things than you ever would have thought that we would have picked up about you. Like I've literally put your whole puzzle together from a few pieces. Yeah. So please don't try it. Like don't even.
Someone said when they catch feelings, but it's supposed to be your homie, and then end the friendship. Friend falls for you, but then they end the friendship.
Because they know it's not gonna happen. My issue is, if we're friends, I expect us to be friends. I've dealt with friendships where it came all of a sudden, or like these feelings or emotions that came at me in a very non-friend, petty way. So why are all of a sudden are you treating me like this, doing this or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's feelings, but instead of like talking about it, you treat me differently. You had all these ideas or whatever, or trying to mess up my situation, or giving me bad advice from my love situation because you have alternative motives, and I cannot fuck with that.
That's deep.
It's really deep.
Don't do that.
No.
That's insane, man. That's the stuff
That's
I'm
not a
talking
good
about.
friend.
Like, people really take shit to that level. Like, maybe it's just like you really don't want to ruin the friendship, I guess, but like you really do have to be honest. Like, with yourself, with the person. Dragging shit on and then it biting you in the ass later is like, it's gonna ruin what you have anyway, so you might as well just be real now, as tough as it is. That's the only thing that's gonna literally save you. If you're like, I have feelings for you, and then they're like, whoa, you'd be like, well, it's okay. Like, either you could do that or you could like end it, I guess. At least you know how to move, and like at least you know what to do next, and they know.
There's been times where it worked for me. We realized we had a vibe, and then 3.5 years, or the 3 years on and off, we spent cool. And then there's been times where it's like, whoa, make sure it's like good timing. If your friend is coming to you, because it comes at the worst time. Oh my God, friend, why did she do this to me? I'm hurting and blah, blah, blah. And that's when you slip it in? Hell nah, man. I'm so mad now. It's like, what? I'm literally coming to you as my friend and advice, and I'm like, you know, and then you're just like, so what about us? Like, that's fucking crazy to me.
But like you just said, like 3.5 years is a long time, and I feel like lesbians move quick, and even friendships are quick too. As much as we talked about the boundaries and protecting yourself, like that comes with time and experience. The stuff that does happen that is shitty is happening for a reason, and like it's gonna help you build that stuff later, so that way you know that like time matters. And like even when I'm dating, or anybody really, and friendships, I need to take my time, experiences, see how you move. Like, I've seen a lot of different layers of people throughout the times that we've spent. You gotta take your friends to different situations. Like, you gotta be like at the club, you gotta be at the house, you gotta be at a restaurant, and then see how they interact with other people, how they talk about people, what their values are. Like, honestly, I don't have a lot of very close masculine friends at all, or lesbian friends. I feel like everybody has their place. Like, I could definitely consider Kels, you, P, like, y'all are like my close tribe. And that's something that I've built for like what I said, like these past 10 years. Because like all these other ones, when I first came out, I'm not even friends with them anymore. I have like one best friend from like high school. And when they do betray you, because not to say like when, but like most of the times there's gonna be disagreements and weird shit. And especially when you start to mix your friends together, that's when it starts to get really complicated.
For real.
And especially if they're a newer lesbian and then they get mixed in, like, oh boy. With mask friendships specifically, it's the unchecked misogyny. I actually don't hang out with masculine women that are friends with like mainly men.
You gotta be secure in your masculinity and femininity for me to feel good around you. It's very loud when someone is not comfortable in their own skin. If I come over and be like, oh, yo, like, you look good, I like the top, and you're like, bro, I'm not trying to have sex with you right now, bro. Like, I just gave you a compliment. I'm sorry no one has done that for you, or that you're not comfortable enough with yourself that you can just accept that and not feel awkward. Now everything's awkward. You look nice.
I feel like we're both friends with like mainly people that are masculine presenting, but they also have a very in touch with their feminine side. So, you know, a lot of my friends twerk and smile, shit, just throwing ass. And I love that because it's like we're not afraid to be how gay we really are. I feel like what a lot of people who follow me and us, both of us, are like from all over the world, and then you're limited to what you're surrounded by, which is not a lot of gays. I already know.
Right.
Like, we're very lucky to be around a lot of the gays we are. That's the number one reason why I moved here. Like, I'm from Jersey. Like, I had to get out. I was the only lesbian I knew in the whole fucking state of South Jersey. So I was like, I didn't know anybody that looked like me. I was like, I gotta get out of here. So, you know, like, if you really need to find your tribe, like, I would suggest like doing what you can, but sacrificing your values for the limited stuff you have just to have a gay friend sometimes is not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes my straight friends understand my situations more. It's about people. People being good people.
The gayer you get, the more it's just gonna naturally come to you. And that should be your goal, is just like dive into yourself more, be more unapologetic about who you are, and then like those people will like find you. There is that always gonna be that weird line of like, well, you're straight, you just don't understand, you know, what I'm experiencing. Like, you're just never gonna really have that full connection. So when you have like a bro and I can be like, explain things and you're like, I get it, like that, you can't, you know, trade that for the world. Yeah, it feels so good. You're like, you get me.
Just even being able to get out of your like town and come to one of the events. I'm doing a full week in Tulum, 800 plus lesbian. Like, that's so lit.
That sounds great.
Like, if I lived in a random town, like I'd be going to those things and I could get my break
That's
of
what
like.
I did on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I did that all.
Yeah.
Because I live in South Jersey, so I'm like, I'm gonna go to Philly, I'm gonna go to New York, I'm gonna go to Boston. Like, I was driving all over, and then I lived in Providence, and I would go even farther. I say to people all the time, come to our events by yourself. I don't care. Like, make your friends. Like, be open to that. It's the only place you're gonna really like find that many people in one space at the same time. Like, take advantage of it. Like, and don't take it for granted. Y'all take us for granted. With Taste, like, I do so much, and then like I don't see the turnout that y'all be asking for, and it's crazy to me, because I'm like, we give you the opportunity, like, we're here now. Like, you can make it whatever you want. I'm a fucking host and I don't drink and go crazy.
Our spaces are so necessary. We have very little in LA specifically, because like over time it got to the point where it's like, oh no, they don't need a specific space because everybody can be everywhere with each other, but at the same time we do. So that we can feel that safety. Like, if I go to the club in LA, it's mostly straight girls. And then the person that ends up hitting on me is a straight girl that's trying to see what's up. You know, like, I'll be down for something different. Versus like, if you come to one of our events, it's mostly women that love women, and I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And that's where I find safety now.
Mind games, but I've experienced some shit on like some mental level where it's like, well, you don't really know people's intentions, like what they're really trying to do with you. And then when you get to a certain status in this life, it's just like, what are you really doing? Because like you see in TV shows where that's the whole plot, like someone just plotting on someone and they do their final thing at the end. I'd be terrified of some shit like that. So I never want to have my right hand like betray me some crazy shit. So, but that happens, like that literally happens, which is so wild to me. There's a lot of people that I feel like are like so open to let your space be invaded, like even protect parts of your physical space. Like, I don't let people in my bedroom like that. Like, certain things, like, where you just kind of are just, like, protective down to a spiritual level, because you can't have someone know everything. As much as I want to say, like, we're lesbians and we're like, I don't know. Like, it's just scary.
The person that I was with all the time and, like, hanging out with all the time was the person that reached into my wallet and stole my cards and my shit and went and used it when we were so close that if you would have just asked me, you know, my closest friends being the ones that I hear said some bad stuff about me to someone. Like, if someone comes up and is like, oh yeah, I'm interested in Amber, how is it? And like, you don't have anything good to say. There's been points where I've heard stuff and I had to be like, because I would never move like that.
Like, on top of being women, you're gay. And then it's like, it just takes that level of trust and deceit to another level. And like, people from outside of this community don't truly understand how bad people can take it. Like, stuff like you just said, it's just like wild, because it's like, I brought you in, I never would do you like that. And usually a lot of times it has to do with like being attracted to someone or sexual thing, and like our coochies like ruin the fucking friendship basically, like, you know, over some stupid shit or some jealousy stuff.
Well, like I said earlier, some people just move odd. Like, people that are younger than me are like, hey, yo, I watch your stuff growing up. Thank you for helping me, like, you know, find my swag or my style, and talk to you and get to know you, and then we vibe. But then now you're now in the DMs of the person you see me with that night. So now it's like, did you respect me or are you trying to be?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened. I'm not even joking.
Wild.
That's like more than these fingers. It's not just the girl, like overstepping boundaries or like using me to get another connection, or now taking this picture with me and then going in a place and be like, look how cool we are, and then using that to get in or whatever.
That's a big LA thing.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
are they trying to stepstone or be
Right.
your friend?
And then it goes all the way back to what I was talking about at the beginning of like culture. Like every city has their like ways of like lesbians and how they move and like in business and friendships and like weird shit and like how much they value certain things.
Like in Houston, most of the time, I'm running into people who be like, oh yeah, this is my wife of 6 years. And in LA, it's like, I've been talking to this person for 6 days and we're about to move in together.
Yeah.
There's no level of commitment out here like in other places.
Yeah.
But this is what I have to say about all the things that we were talking about today, whether it's like commitment to a relationship or the doing the work on yourself. I think LA holds people back because it's a city where you're constantly hustling and trying to survive.
Yeah.
And when you're in that mode, you don't have time to then settle down, or I feel like you look at everything like, oh, is this taking me away from my goal, what I'm trying to do? Nobody really has that we can do this together, that we mindset, which is so unfortunate.
I know.
Because it's embedded in me. We as friends, we as partners. Oh, even though I went into this room and told all these people, hey, I got this friend that does that tonight, let me link you. But they'll never mention me. Damn.
The accessibility matters in how fast you grow and how much you do grow. As much as there's probably a lot more married lesbians in Houston, it's like, who knows how good they really are. It's like a lot of people are just settling. And I did that. Like when I lived in the East Coast, it was like, I didn't have many options. I'm just gonna settle for what I got.
53% of us in the queer community find our booze on online or dating apps,
wow.
which sucks for me because I'm not like that.
Yeah, same.
And then 58% of lesbian relationships do not make it. End up in divorce or whatever. We're not even talking about the domestic violence rate, which is also a problem that we have.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we have to work through.
And that's in friendships too. People putting their hands on each other. And
Absolutely.
we gotta
But
give them
then,
a solution.
yeah, we gotta do the work. Oh, give them a solution?
Yeah, what are we talking?
Stay positive.
If you can kind of formulate wherever, like your situation to a way that works for you, that's pretty much the only way you're gonna survive. Like you just gotta make it work for yourself. And your craving for connection is limited. So just knowing that, how do you move with that? What you really want is gonna be limited and much harder than the average person. For me, like transferring in my romantics to being poly, from me like building my boundaries in my friendships, and having less of them and finding comfort in having less of them from someone who was like completely opposite when I first came out. There's gotta be a level of acceptance within yourself that like the situation is what it is and you have to find happiness in that. Also, another solution is you gotta go outside. I'm sorry, but like you gotta.
Dang it.
You gotta,
I feel like one day she'll just knock on the door.
maybe I'll just deliver you one.
Right, no, please. Because I'm checking Amazon all the time. I'm looking for extraordinary friendships and I'm looking for an extraordinary partner in a relationship, and so I'm not gonna find it. It's not gonna be easy. So I decided that the way that I wanna go about this is to continue working on myself and pushing through the things that I'm working through and trying to be the best version, and that I will find that one in a, 10 million person. Like, universe, how long do I have to put up with these lessons I
I want this for you
learned?
so bad, bro.
Huh?
I want it for you. I think we all want it for you so bad.
Thank you, man. I just, I'm doing my best. But I think that's the thing. I just want to focus on me and my journey, and then at some point it will come. And I think some of us just need to do that too. It's just like, let's just be.
But if she
the best
can
we
say
can
this, like the OG can say this, then y'all can be patient. I can be patient, like.
I just want to be in love
Oh my
somewhere.
God.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
when she shows up.
Right. Maybe we should end it with like what not to do. Don't be fucking weird and betray your own fucking friend in your small town that you do have. When you compromise in relationships, that needs to be also added to your friendships.
Absolutely.
Like real bad. And like I feel like because we're friends, like I don't need to do that. Like sometimes you need to be a friend and show up. Like in LA especially, I feel like a lot of us just don't fucking show up for each other.
Another word is communicate. I can't tell you how many times Virgos, we feel things and like we say things. The thing we have to work on is the way we say it. Because I can't tell you how many times that like I finally just opened my mouth and like said, hey friend, I actually feel like this when you do this. I would rather you, whatever. And they're just like, oh, because sometimes people didn't learn how to be a friend, or they don't see things like you see things. They see it from a different view. Open your mouth when you don't like something or someone's acting a certain way. That's the only way change is gonna happen. Move with class, yo. If your friend dated the person and you're just like, oh, I just wanna go have fun, it's never gonna be worth it. Have the conversation, or just don't put yourself in those situations, because it sounds like fun for the second, but then it's not going to be worth it at the end because it takes something from you, whether you realize it or not. It's going to take from the relationship, and it's just going to mess up a lot of things. Move with respect for yourself and others.
And you need a Virgo friend like us to tell you what it is, and you need to listen.
Yeah.
Like, just don't let it pass you by. I feel like we've not wasted, but I've spoken so much life into people, and then they just do the opposite.
Right,
It's
every
like,
time.
Oh,
But just like myself, sometimes I gotta learn the hard way.
But that's another thing to know is like you could do this, but don't feel like me where you feel like drained. Just know that like you did it with love, and that's what matters. And whatever they do with that is on them, you know. But keep yourself out of it to a certain extent to protect yourself. Like, always protect yourself at the end of the day, because they are just friends, right? We're not fucking on each other and shit. Like, we're just friends. And if you're a masculine woman, you can have feminine friends if you know how to fucking do that, you know? Like, it's possible. Whatever you identify as, it's possible to just be out here and actually have a friend. And I have many of those. And I love the balance of my masculine and feminine friendships and what those add to me and how they move. And I actually have a lot of feminine friends who I was like sexual for a second, but then we realized it wasn't gonna be more than that. So then we're just like, okay, it's cool to just be friends, and that's okay too.
And that's the dynamic that I'm talking about, because then some people might feel a certain way that you bring in, whatever, and that needs to be respected, even though you don't understand it. Like, you're just like, wait, we're not like that at all.
If you are the one that's always saying no and like holding your boundaries strong and seeming like the bad guy, which I've like developed to be into nowadays.
Good.
Like, yeah, just like
I'm
like,
down.
Yeah, same. Like, I'm glad to be here now, because now I'm actually speaking the fuck up, and like I'm not, like letting people run all over me and left in the dirt with all the bullshit. So if you gotta be the one, like, know that you're heard over here and you're seen, and it's okay to be that one. Like, a lot of people need to hear some shit. And I also want to add that, like, when I was talking about the drunkenness and stuff and all that, like being the one on this side most of my life, it's nice to hear from friends like, hey, thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for hearing me when I was down, or like listening, putting up with me. Like, if you have someone that actually puts up with your shit, takes care of you when you're lit, and like, and doesn't ask for much, like, that's a friend, bro. Like, don't
appreciate them.
Be vocal. That's the least you can do, you know. And then always try to reciprocate stuff future, like, to help, to make sure that that person feels seen and heard and respected too. Because there's been so many times where I feel like I'm just doing all this work for what? There's always two sides to every coin. So if you're not a considerate person, you're not gonna have many friends. You gotta own your shit. Like, as women, we should be doing that, and it's crazy that we're so disrespectful of one another. So stop doing that.
Period.
I don't know. I hope that helped.
Right. Get in therapy.
Yeah,
that's my main thing.
I just would love to see, for both of us, to see a healthier lesbian culture growing, like, moving forward, you know?
Me too.
Like, younger ones are nice. It's nice to see how open y'all are, but the level of audacity is a little high.
It's crazy.
I feel like the accessibility on social media has really conditioned your brains to think that like life is like that, and no.
Right.
And then like you're forgetting that there's like ages of lesbians and like different things of how people have grown up and how their values are. Like, we still differentiate on a lot of things too. So it's like you gotta be respectful of people that have gone through the bullshit before you, and know that if you're talking to an experienced lesbian, listen to them, because they've been through it.
Respect each other.
You might want to listen.
The youngins getting on here and be like, I think straight girls look better, so did it. Like, bruh, you can have your opinion, but the way you just delivered it was so disrespectful to our community, yourself, all the things. You're not gonna get anywhere like demeaning or putting down anyone in your own community. That's wild. You can have like your feelings, but just don't move like that. Move with love and respect, please. I'm getting old because I am the grumpy I'm gonna be the grandpa at the club. Why y'all acting like this? Trying to hit him with the cane. Because by that time, hopefully I own the damn thing.
No, period.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Say bye to Amber. Love you guys. Back for the next one.